Testing. Just want to make sure this goes well. Hey guys, how's it going? Let me see who's in the chat. Guys, can someone respond something in the chat just so I know everything is working? I know we got Avery, we got Kadarius in here. Someone just type something in the chat just to make sure it's working before people start rolling in. Let me type something. Okay, that works. Okay. So guys, we're going to give it about 1 minute. Then we're going to start. I know it's 7 o'clock. I'm the last person you want to see on a Tuesday at 7 o'clock. So I'm going to kind of just speed through this in a way so I can give you value, right? I kind of want to just go over the end of the year tax planning. If you're a business owner, these are things you need to be doing. If you don't want to do it, just know that you're going to have an extra bill at the end of the year that you don't want to pay, right? So these are the reasons why I do that. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes. Hey. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes. Just gonna play some music while we wait. Give it a couple minutes, let people roll in. Let's see. Okay. We're going to start soon. Okay, let's get started. People will trickle in while they trickle in. But yeah, guys, we're talking about end of the year tax planning. If you're a business owner, these are the things that you need to do. And it's often overlooked. So this is why I wanted to do this presentation. So let me share my screen so we can dive into this. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, put them in the chat, because at the end of the call, we're going to do a Q&A. So I'm going to kind of speed through the presentation because, once again, it's 7 o'clock. I don't look like no Michael B. Jordan, so I know I'm the last person y'all trying to hear at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday. So I got this presentation. I'm going to dive into Q&A. This is a CPA you can get answers from to basically grow your business and reduce your tax liability. So I'm hopefully y'all can get value from this. So this is the first screen: strategic end of the year tax planning for high profits, right? Tax planning, not tax preparation. It's tax planning, and we'll explain the difference soon. So what we're talking about today is basically, I'm going to give a quick intro, and then I'm going to show you how to estimate your tax liability. The year isn't over yet, so I'm going to show you what you need to be doing in order to do that quick forecast and estimate your tax liability, right? And then we're going to dive into tax strategies that we're going to use for the year. And I'm actually going to show you exactly how we deliver it in our firm too as well. So if you're confident and you think you can do it on your own, I don't recommend it. But if you think that you can do it by, just on your own, I'm going to give you the tool to implement some of these strategies. And then after that, we're going to hop into a Q&A. I'm going to bring people up to basically just answer your questions. So let's dive into this. A quick intro. So my name is Christian Yemen. I'm a CPA, and I own a firm that only specializes in 3 things. We only do 3 things. And I'm going to dive into those 3 things, but just a quick backstory about me. I actually been in business or a part of a business since I was 14. My dad owns a mental health clinic, and he owns an ambulance and also a dog daycare center. And he threw me in that business at the age of 14 to say, Christian, you're doing the books. I didn't want to. I didn't know what I was doing. I was messing up a lot. But fast forward, I basically got the hang of it, went to school for it, became a CPA, worked at one of the largest CPA firms in America, actually in the world. And then fast forward, I said, let me just go open up my own CPA firm and do the same thing I was doing for my family business for others. So I'm here. We have a team of 5, and we only do these three services. Tax relief services, which is basically like a defense attorney for the IRS. So if you get in trouble or you feel like the IRS made an error and you can't defend yourself, you basically will call our firm so we can act on behalf of you and get that taxes down or removed. And we can also handle audits for you, right? So that's tax resolution services. Our next one is client accounting services. If you're wondering what that is, just know that it's us basically keeping you organized within your business. So if you have a problem with being organized in your business, you would need us to basically financially organize you. That's all we're doing. And then our tax advisory services is things we're talking about today. Not just tax prep, it's also doing the tax planning, right? So think of sports. Think of LeBron James and the Lakers. Tax prep is him playing the game. That's tax prep, him playing the game. Tax planning is what he does before the game, so he can basically operate at his highest value when he's in the game. Think of it like that. Tax prep is you playing the game. Tax planning is us doing the preparation to perform our best during the game. That's a good analogy in my eyes. I'm a huge sports guy. So this is the journey, right? And it's probably the reason why you're on this call is this is like the average taxpayer journey. And we start here. You probably have some pain, or maybe you just overpaid in your taxes. So you ask yourself, am I overpaying in taxes? Can I even save money in my taxes? Or you probably seen like an Instagram video that kind of said, you should be doing this, right? So you get triggered. That's usually the first step. After you get triggered, you then start searching for answers. Maybe you use ChatGPT. Maybe you call us, right? Because you just have some questions. So say if you call a firm like us, a good firm, the first thing they should do is show you how much they can save you before they even charge you with a fee, before they even try to take money for you and give you false promises. They should show you how much they can save you. And we're going to go over our tax planning software that we use to show you how much we can save you in tax liability, right? So after that CPA tells you how much savings you can do, it's the planning part. Your guys come together and we do a kickoff, basically say, hey, Tom, what strategies were you thinking? Here's what I recommend. And we basically come together to common ground to say, hey, we're doing these strategies. It could be Augusta Rule, S Corp, and do some type of retirement planning because you don't have any retirement planning set up in your business. That can just be the tax strategy, or it could be a various amount of other strategies. So once we decide, which is this part right here, now it's time to implement. That's when our firm comes in place. We don't like for the client to really do it themselves because they mess it up. 9 times out of 10, they mess it up. So that's when we will come to implement these strategies that we planned and decided on. After we implement these strategies, they need to show up on the tax return. Remember, that's the game I was talking about. That's us playing the game, right? So this needs to show up on your tax return, or else all the planning we did means nothing. Like, why were we planning and doing all this preparation before the game if we're not going to perform during the game, right? So that's filing quarterly and filing your tax return. That's the journey of a taxpayer. They have pain. They try to look for answers. They probably don't know it all. Then they reach out to an accountant and they find someone like me that says, hey, this is how much we can save you. Let's do a plan and let's implement these and let's put these on your tax return. That's the journey. And let me have my chat open just in case you have any questions. If I have questions, put them in the chat because I'm trying to run through this presentation so I can answer all y'all questions quickly. Once again, it's 7 o'clock. I'm not the prettiest looking guy. I know you don't want to look at me all night. All right. So I'm trying to speed through this. But the first part of tax planning is, do you even need it? Most accountants will try to just make a sale just to boost up their revenue. But you have to ask yourself and you have to know, do you even need it? So we're going to go over some live clients that I have, and all the information is blurred out, so you won't even know who it is. But this is the first thing that you need to do. Do I even need this tax planning? So let's look at some clients. You can't see their information, all their stuff blurred out. This is a real client in our firm, right? So just by looking at this, right? Professional firm, profitable. His goal is to build wealth. Can y'all put in the chat, put yes or no in the chat to see, does this business need a tax plan? Just put yes or no. Let's see, I'm gonna give y'all a minute. I got a quiet group here, I guess. Let's see. Put yes or no. Does this business need a tax plan? Come on, guys. I need someone to participate. There we go. I see Mona Lisa 100%, Kadarius, yes, D. Patterson, yes, Samba, yes, Shelby, yes, yep, all yes, right? Heck yeah, this person needs a tax plan, right? Because one thing that we're looking at the net income of the business. So we're going to circle back, but let's just say yes, right? Yes. Now the next person, you can't see this person's business. You don't know who this is. It's a real person. Mental health. The profitability is a little lower than the last one, which is fine. Business is business, right? Business is business. Y'all tell me, do this person need a tax plan? I'm curious. Kind of curious what you guys think. And these are real business owners. Of course, I hid all their personal information. I don't want y'all seeing anything. And we have tons of clients, so it's going to be hard for you to take a guess anyway. Let's see. Avery says yes. Okay, I'm here. Okay, we're going to see. Mona Lisa says yes. Let's see. Okay, let's go to the next plan. So the first step of tax planning is to estimate how much tax liability you're projected to have. So since it's already around November, I don't have to do a forecast because it's like, okay, one more month. Okay, I can kind of do some guesstimates. Like the business is already set in stone. Not too much will change, right? So let me share my screen. Let's go back, right? Let's go back to the first business. Mind you, this is from January to October. Their net income is $711,000, right? And that's what's taxable. The IRS looks at your net income to find out what is taxable. And this is assuming he only has one business and he's single, right? There's other factors that may play in, but we're only doing he's a single individual and he only has one business. No other things to offset his taxes, right? I just want to keep it simple for you guys. But the IRS is looking at your bottom line to see that taxability for that entity. So what are they going to tax it by? It's called that tax bracket, right? Unless you're a C Corp, which we're not going to talk about. That's a more of an advanced call that we'll probably do later on this year. But if you're a Schedule C and you're an S Corp, this is basically your tax bracket. I'm going to show you after this. So net income, that's what you're going to be taxed on. Let me share my screen because we times that net income by a tax bracket. So and if you're wondering what your tax bracket is, Google it. Guys, this stuff is simple. Google it. Google tax bracket for 2023. I pulled up one here from NerdWallet, and this is accurate. So mind you, he was a single person. So I use this column here, single, and his net income, he only has one business, no W-2, no none of that, only one business. His net income, profitable income, taxable income, the different ways you can kind of say it, was $711,000. So let me do my calculator. Let me pull up my calculator. I'm dragging to the share screen. 1 second. So 711,000 times, this is telling me 37%. What is that? How much taxes is he set to owe? He's set to owe $263,000. Right? $263,000. And let's use the other person. Their net income was $16,000. So let's times that by, it says 12 here, but I never want to go over 20 because of self-employer tax. That's just like my baseline. So 16 times 20, 20%. The other person is set to owe around $3,000 in taxes, right? So let me go back to my presentation. Let me turn this off, put back my slide up again. Now let's re-answer some of those questions. Let me go back to the businesses. This first one, he was set to owe $263,000. Excuse my language, but hell yeah, he needs a tax plan. Yes, he needs a tax plan. And we're going to go over that today. We're going to go over some of the things he can be doing and some of the questions he needs to ask his CPA to as well. Let's go to the next person. So the first business was yes, he needs one, unless he wants to pay $263,000 in taxes. You be my guest. One thing I like to tell my clients is at the end of the day, do you want to give your money to the government or do you want to find a way to put that money back either in yourself or in your business? 10 times out of 10, they choose themselves, not the government. So the next one was 16,000. They were looking around owing 3,000 and some change in taxes. Now, depending on their threshold, they're like, Christian, I really don't care. Yeah, that's fine by me. I didn't want to pay too much. Or if they want to get rid of that 3,000, they can do some of the tax strategies here that we're going to talk about today. Simple things we can do. So simple. So simple. Well, I guess let me not use that because I've been doing this for a long time. But I'm going to try to break it down where it's simple for you. And just know, let me go back actually. Just know your projections is not going to be 100% accurate, but you want to get close enough. Close enough, right? So it may be off by 2,000, 3,000, or if it's a larger number, it may be off by 10,000 or so. The objective is to get close enough on knowing how much you're going to pay, right? So once you figure out that number by doing a simple look at your financials, mind you, you have to have your financials updated in order to do this. If you don't, you're kind of guessing. You're kind of guessing. Your numbers are going to be off. So if you don't have your financials, this video doesn't. We need to have another video with how to get your financials on. This isn't probably the video for you right now, right? So the first step is just knowing how much you're projected to owe. If you like that number, don't call me. Don't call me. You're fine. You file your taxes. You can go hire that tax lady down the street probably. She may mess up your stuff, but at least your taxes are filed somewhat. But if you don't like that number, give us a call. Give us a call. Because a lot of CPAs don't do tax planning. They do tax preparation, which is just filing your taxes, and you never hear from them again. Tax planning is a CPA firm is working with you, and they usually meet with you quarterly to develop strategies to reduce that number. That professional firm that you saw that was making $711,000, we talk every other week. Every other, hey, Christian, all right, I need to do this, I need that, I need that, because we're planning. We're planning. We have a system on how we plan. So these are some tax strategies we can take advantage of. We're actually going to go over the Augusta Rule today, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Mind you, if you mess up, that's on you. I can fix your mess up, but if you mess up, that's on you. I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT where you can speed up the process of doing it. This is the things my firm use. I have no issue telling you. We use these same methods. And then, so we're going to go over the Augusta Rule. We're going to go over accelerating your business expenses. And then we're going to go over the entity structure. And we're just going to talk about it. I want to bring some people up. I want to make this more interactive. But, you know, I just want to briefly just mention it, right? But the Augusta Rule is something we're going to dive into. All right. So let's talk about accelerating your business expenses. That's basically making prepayments in the current year. Forget all the fancy jargon. You're paying up all your expenses now that you can, like your rent, like your software. It may be a contractor that you're going to use for the following year. It may be my services. Say, Christian, I want to pay you all right now, so I don't have to worry about it for next year. You know, I guess that's a sudden plug, but you're prepaying your expenses in the current year so you can bring down that tax liability in order to avoid paying taxes, but still get a benefit by paying for the services you were going to pay for already. Simple stuff. The only thing you would probably need your CPA for is figuring out which ones you want to prepay and does it make sense. And then if you're, and this is for cash basis, you're operating under a cash basis. I mean, you know, you're spending money now. But this all you're doing is prepaying your expenses. Let's not make it complex. You can get with your CPA, say, hey, CPA, what expenses should I accelerate? Which one do you recommend? They may bill you for that time, or you can just go ask ChatGPT and then run it by your CPA to make that time quicker. So he may not bill you for an hour. He only bills you for 30 minutes. All right. Got to be more efficient with our conversations, because I don't mind talking to you for 3 hours. Just know I'm going to charge you. Right. So accelerating your expenses, simple, easy. Don't want to spend too much time about it. If your guys have questions, put it in the chat. We're going to go over it. I'm trying to speed through this so we can get to the questions. The next one is your entity structure. I'm actually going to share my screen so I can take you into a tax plan that we're currently doing, right? And let me share my structure. Let me share my screen. This is a tax plan we're currently doing. Of course, I changed the name up. Can y'all guys see that? Right. This is a real client. I just changed the name up. Don't want y'all to see my client's information. Mind you, entity structure. Most people are under the wrong entity structure. Last year, I believe we saved this client, Lucky Day Firm. He's a professional firm. We saved this client around $22,000 because we switched him to an S corp. But let's say if we switch him to a C corp, you see that negative $20,000. That's how much you'd be losing money in taxes. Because with a C corp, you have to basically pay that 21% of taxes on that C corp. So it gets a little pricey. So our firm knows not to put them under that wrong entity structure, right? Usually, if you're making around $50,000 or $60,000 and plus in profits, you probably should be under S corp. But mind you, S corps are a little bit more pricier because you now have to be on payroll, you now have to pay for payroll tax, and you now have to pay for that payroll software. Just keep that in mind, right? But we knew to put him under S corp because if we move to C corp, Schedule C, he's losing now $12,000. We don't want that for him. He's not going to be happy. We can't get our fees from that, right? You know, this is projecting that we save him $153,000, right? So being under the right entity structure is a conversation you have to have with your CPA. Don't try to do it yourself. I'm all about doing your self-services for the things that I feel like y'all guys can do. But for this one, for the love of God, please do not do it yourself. I have fixed so many wrong entity structures just because clients don't know what they're doing, right? So entity structure, make sure you have it, right? And I'm going to quickly go through some. So these are a list of other tax strategies. We're not going to go through them all, but just know we're going over that Augusta Rule right now, right? So we talked about, let me unshare my screen. We talked about having the right entity structure. That's a conversation that you have to have with your CPA. And we talked about accelerating your business expenses. In simple terms, you're making payments now on things that you're going to use next year. Intend to lower your profit so you can pay less on that profit. That's all you're doing. Now let's go into the Augusta Rule. This is something that I wanted to give y'all guys. So after the call, or let's see if I link it somewhere in here. Yeah, I'm going to link this file in here. Let me save it down. These, and mind you, I'm giving you things that I charge my client for. This is what my team used to implement the Augusta Rule. For example, this Augusta Rule is saving this client $6,000, not $6,000 in tax deductible. This is like dollar for dollar. It's saving him $6,000 and some change. Of course, my firm charged for this, but I'm giving this to you for free, right? So I'm going to download this. I'm going to put it in the chat right now before I forget. Let me download Excel. And let me attach it in the file. Let me add a file before I start going on my spiel. And please put in the chat. If y'all guys got questions, put it in the chat so I can see. I wanna make sure I'm answering your guys' call because once again, it's 7 o'clock. I know you don't want to look at me. Okay, that Augusta Rule is showing up. Let me know if y'all guys see that, or if you can grab that before I move on. Do y'all guys see that file that I just shared? Is it sharing? I think it's still sharing. Let's see. And did someone raise their hand to speak? No? Okay. Hit me with a pump fake. But I think I'm sharing the file. If y'all guys can't see it towards the end, just let me know. I want to dive through this, right? So what is the Augusta Rule, right? What is it? All the Augusta Rule is a tax law that was made up in Augusta, Georgia, that allows the business. Oh, it's there. Thank you, Mona Lisa. All the Augusta Rule it's a tax strategy that originated in Augusta, Georgia, that allows the business owner to rent out its personal living room. I'm going to say it one more time. It allows the business owner to rent out its personal living room to act as a meeting room for the business. That's all it's doing. You're renting out your personal living room. Turn around. You're probably in your personal living room today. Turn around. We're having a meeting in there, and the business is giving yourself a check for hosting that meeting. It's no different than me going to the Motel 6 or whatever meeting room and booking a meeting room for that day. But we're doing it in our living room. As long as we do it for under 14 days, we don't have to report that money that the business gave the business owner. The business gave the business owner, yourself. We don't have to report that on your tax return as long as it's under 14 days. Now, if it's over 14 days, we got to report it. Not my problem. That's on you, because I told you 14 days or less, right? So Augusta Rule, it's a simple tax strategy. It must be documented correctly. I'm going to show you how to do it. But once again, run it by your CPA, because if you don't do it correctly and then your things get audited, now it's like you're up for that liability. So if you feel like you can do this yourself, be my guest. I'm giving you the playbook. I'm giving you the plan to implement this tax strategy. But if you don't feel comfortable, please hire someone like us. So let me share my screen. This, once again, that file that I just formed is exactly what my team, my staff, we used in order to implement some of these strategies. So let's break this down real quick. And I'm going to be going back and forth to show you how we're going to implement it. So the time it takes to implement and document this, around 1 to 3 hours. 14 days or less is when we're supposed to have the meeting. And I'm going line by line. Who will you need for third-party help? Will you need a third party for help? Usually it's us, but if you don't need no third party, put no here, right? If answer yes to the but, we're gonna skip that. Is this retroactive? That means we're in 2023 now. Can we do it for 2022? We can't. So that means we have to do it in the current year. That's why I want to do this end of the year tax plan, so we can implement it this year if we need to. Deadline, you do it at the end of the year. The deadline, as soon as it's January 1st, you can't do it no more. But you're supposed to do this tax plan each year. There's something you repeat each year. And Kadarius, I'm going to answer your question a little bit later. I'm going to wrap up on this first. Recommended dates. So I want you to have your meetings monthly, quarterly, and bi-yearly, right? So, but here's the thing. We're going to let ChatGPT pick our meeting dates. I don't want to think. I want ChatGPT to do it. So these are the action steps. This is what we need to do, what I'm highlighting. This is what we need to do in order to successfully do this strategy. We're going to walk through it today. I'm going to speed through it. This tax filing by entity types tells you where you should be, what line on the tax return you should be filing this. This is more for your CPA. You probably, because you're not filing your own taxes, you shouldn't. This is more for your CPA. But for example, if you have an S Corp, this goes under other expenses. If you have a Schedule C, this goes under line 48, right? But once again, that's for something else. And then this button, right, this little link right here shows you the IRS guidance. So if you ever get in trouble, refer back to the IRS guidance. That's the law. This is tax law. But let's dive into the tax strategy, right? So this is what you're going to be doing each year, because we should be having meetings anyway. I'm not telling you something that you shouldn't already be doing. So first things first, plan the meeting dates. Christian, I don't know what dates to plan. Don't think about it. Let the software nowadays do it. So where we're going to go? We're going to go to Chat GPT. We're going to go to New Chat. We're going to go to, and we're going to type in the chat, plan 14 random dates within the year for Augusta Rule. Bullet the dates. I want to make an edit because it's only I want the whole year. I'm telling spread out the dates. Bam, right? ChatGPT just did 14 random dates for us. We go here. Well, of course, we put this on a Word document, print it out, PDF, save it in your Google Drive. I don't got to do that right now. We all should know that. We just plan 14 dates. We good. We document that, and we just save that in our drive. You can label it Augusta Rule. Just save it underneath there. That just took me 10 seconds, guys. The software nowadays is amazing. The technology is amazing. So the next thing that we want to do is basically find a comparable quote. So we're like, oh, Christian, what's my rate? How much can I bill myself? How much can I pay myself? Go to Peerspace. Go to Peerspace. Click here. And this playbook gives you everything you need to do. Go to Peerspace. It's going to bring up a page like this. Go to just team meeting. And we're going to go into the details of the meeting later. But go team meeting. I'm in Houston, Texas, and then date anytime. Now, depending on how many people are going to be at your meeting, and mind you, the meeting can not only be your staff, it can be some of the third parties that you work with, right? Maybe it's a marketer that you work with. Maybe it's a virtual assistant that you work with. Not a virtual assistant, excuse me. Maybe it's like contractors that you work with that you use to deliver your services. Bring them to the meeting if you want to, if you're close enough to bring them in your living room. But Houston, Texas, right? So I want to pick something that's going to be a bang for my buck. I like this 100, basically 100 an hour. I like that, right? That's a classroom I can use. That's a professional meeting room space. I like that. So that's something I can use. I want to avoid the $30 an hour because I'm trying to get it kind of high enough where the tax write-offs can make sense, right? So I've seen one for 100. So let's just use that for time's sake. If you find one that's larger, not larger, that costs more, that's maybe more fancier, choose that one because you want to justify it. But all I'm doing here is Control P, saving that down, and I'm using it as a quote. No difference in just grabbing a quote from somebody. So I'm print that, I'll save it down, I'll store that in my folder right under my meeting dates. You kind of see what we're going, doing here. So let's go to the next one. Document the meetings that took place in business-related content, right? So mind you, we should be saving this down already. We should copy this and turn it into a PDF. Now I want to do a business meeting, right? Say it's today. I can use ChatGPT to write my minutes. Say, make a meeting minute for my CPA firm for today. And if you have typos, that's fine. ChatGPT is going to fix it. We need to discuss revenue opportunities. We need to talk about new hires and whatever it may be, right? And add a team bonding activity that will take 4 hours to do. And there's a reason why I put that. Right, so it writes off all my meetings. And all I got to do is follow what they're telling me to do or tweak it a little bit for my business. And the reason why I put a team bonding activity in there, because I may invite my team over to my house, my living room, but we may want to go to a local bar to do some team bonding. We may want to go to a Top Golf to do some team bonding. So that the meeting's still taking place. It's still on our timer, but we left the meeting to do a team bonding activity, team bonding, and we came back to the meeting to cap the meeting off. Therefore, we can justify why our meeting was 7 hours today. It's because we had our board meeting, but we also had a team bonding to strengthen the livelihood of our business, to build team corral. And then we came back to the meeting to cap it off. That's fair. We just have to document it. So bam, this is a meeting minute. We can adjust it as we can, but use ChatGPT. It took me 2 minutes? Come on, guys. Come on. E-forms. You don't have to use e-forms anymore. Use ChatGPT. I would say write a rental, and mind you, if you want to take, this is an agreement towards the business and yourself, but if you want an attorney or you want your CPA to look into this, have them look into it if you don't feel comfortable. I have to add that. Write a rental agreement for my Augusta Rule for Jelly CPA firm, whatever. Write off that, and it's going to write off your rental agreement. It's going to type it all up, or go copy a rental agreement and add your details into it. So bam, we just completed our rental agreement. Print it out, sign it, store it in your folder. Then the thing that you need to do is for each meeting date that we put, for each meeting, let's see if this still pulls up. It doesn't. But for each meeting date that you put at the beginning, simply pay yourselves for what I think we put $100 for the rate. let me use my calculator. We paid ourselves $100 per hour, and our meeting took 7 hours because we added that team bonding activity. Pay yourself $700 each time you have that meeting. Times that by 14, because you're supposed to be having 14 meetings a day. And now you just created a $9,800 meeting room expense. Right? It's so simple. So simple. So you have that playbook. Mind you, if you don't feel comfortable with doing it yourself, please reach out to us. These are things that we can help you with to make sure you get it correctly, because I'm going through it quickly, but there's more in details we need to have in here, but I'm kind of running through it quickly. But after you pay yourself each time for having that meeting, you just need to document that money moving over. You should have QuickBooks where it's already where it's already documented for you, but you just need to move that money over. You can Zelle yourself, write yourself a check, and you're writing yourself from the business account over to your personal account. From your business account, you're transferring over to your personal account. That's all you're doing. Y'all can't lie to me and say y'all don't know how to do that. Right? So this is like Augusta Rule. I'll show you how to use ChatGPT and what it's kind of like to use that to make this rule quicker. For something that used to take literally like a week for our team to kind of document it and make sure we get right, has now taken us like a day or so. Right? So use that. This is something running by your CPA, please, but use that to kind of help you with things. What else? Let me go back to the presentation, guys. We're almost done. Let me stop sharing that. Let me go back to the presentation. I had a question in here. Let me see. So do the meetings have to be physical contact, contact, or can we have a meeting like we're doing? I would like it to be physical. I want you to invite some of your teams in there if you can, or I want you to have that meeting with yourself. So I guess I would want it to be physical because I'm not gonna lie. I had a client, he took pictures of it. That's even more proof if the IRS will ever say something, right? So just have that physical meeting. Actually have that meeting, even if you're in the room talking to yourself. Let's see. Let me go back to the presentation. Okay, let me start that. All right, we're back live now. So yeah, we went over the Augusta Rule. We went over accelerating your business expense, and we're looking at your entity structure. Make sure to reach out to your CPA about that entity structure. You can't buy yourself around it. You don't want to go study that tax law. Just reach out to your CPA. The Augusta Rule, if you feel comfortable, I don't recommend that you do it yourself, but I just showed you how. And then accelerating your business expense, you can prepay some expenses. These are simple tax strategies. Mind you, there's more things we can do, but you have to reach out to your CPA so they can come up with a customized tax strategy for your business. Let's see. Okay, and the third step is we just found out, do we need it by looking at our estimated tax planning, right, to see how much we're projected to owe in taxes. We looked at some tax strategies, and then now it's actually the time to actually file this thing. We need to file it. So the only thing I want to really harp on is make sure you file it correctly. I had so much amended tax returns this year done by our firm because they went to a cheap person. And from that experience, I didn't coin the phrase, but cheap is expensive. You're going to overpay in taxes by going to a cheap tax person just because they're not looking at this stuff year round. All I do is CPA work. All I do is look at things to grow our CPA firm here. This is not nothing part-time. You don't need to go to a part-time CPA. You need to go to someone who's invested in their craft and their skills because cheap is expensive. Cheap is expensive. I had a client in the medical industry. He had a tax lady it was, and she was just a regular tax lady, no qualifications, no nothing. Didn't put any time towards it. He's basically under audit because the tax lady decided to write off some of the things that wasn't, I guess, a write-off to boost up her portion of the fees. So now he has to deal with that. He has to run his business with dealing with all those headaches and deal with this audit stuff. And sad to say, he's paying us to protect him for this audit. Not sad on our end, but we have to charge for what we do. But now he has an unnecessary fee for something that he could simply just avoid it by hiring a professional. Make sure they're not like a regular tax lady or H&R Block where they just treat you like a number. So that's all I have for my presentation. I wanted to get through this quickly. I thought I was going to do it in 30 minutes. It turned out to be 40, but that's fine. So let's hop into some Q&A. Can I bring people up here? Can someone raise their hand to speak? Or can someone type questions in the chat? Okay, I got a question. Meeting with yourself. Daryl said meeting with yourself. So if you don't, and this goes back to the Augusta Rule, if you don't have a staff, conduct that meeting by yourself. Type out in ChatGPT what you want to talk about or what your business should be doing. Go over it line by line and kind of act as if you had a meeting with 20 people in there. I know it sounds weird, but we need to actually have these meetings and we need to document what we're doing in these meetings. You may want to, how can I put this? You can bring your spouse out. There got to be someone who's involved in your business that you can basically take them on a date with, basically. Have them in your living room. You'll talk about business, particularly your business, and then you'll go do some team bonding event. It could be the person you use to handle your social media. Have them at your meeting. All right, get creative in that and ask your CPA what falls in between the lines. So that's a question you will want to like book a call with us and see what we need to do to tailor you up. Mind you, that Augusta Rule, I gave you a playbook, but it depends on your business sometimes. Let's see. Samba, question is, since the taxpayer is renting out the room, the fee is an expense to the business and income to the taxpayer. How do you go about the taxability of the income? So that income isn't reported. It's an expense for the business, but it's tax-free for the individual as long as it's under 14 days. That's why we love it so much. I don't even have to record it. Now, if you go over 14 days, I have to record that on Schedule E as rental income. I don't want to do that. And then I got to give the bill. You got to get 10. Yeah, I'm not trying to avoid all that. So keep it under 14 days. Let's see. Any other questions? Can I get someone here to speak? No. Guys, y'all may be in this one early. We don't got no questions. Let's see. No questions. So I start calling people out. I see Shelby on here. Avery? No. Okay, someone in the chat. Your firm does bookkeeping? Yes, we do bookkeeping. We call it Cash Light, right? So we basically we keep you financially organized, and then we have recurring meetings to talk about your business. And then we have something that's called Cash Plus, which allows us to do monthly forecasting, setting budgets. I don't recommend that unless you're approaching that $1 million business or you already are a $1 million business, because I'm not a firm believer that your accountant should be the largest expense on your books. That means something's wrong with your business or you're under audit, right? That means he's either doing a lot of cleaning up in your business and he's going to charge you a lot for that year, or you're like under audit where you have to pay a lot of legal and professional fees. So if your CPA is the largest expense on your books, that's something to, ask yourself about. We got to find a way to how to boost that revenue. I'm going to put my link to book a call. If anyone wants to book a call, we have free consultation, guys, to see what you need. I'm put in the chat there. And we're going to call you guys after all this just to make sure you have everything. Let's see. Mona Lisa, if working from home, can we write off cleaning expense? Yes, you can. I'm glad you said that. Working from home, you can write off your cleaning expense. You can write off your rent if you stay in an apartment, your mortgage interest or mortgage insurance. And yeah, you can write off that too as well. And you can write off any large repairs that happen in your home, because you gotta mind yourself. You gotta remember, you gotta remind yourself that percentage of your home office may be 30%. That means 30% of your personal living expense I get to turn into a business expense. So that's huge. Avery said, no questions at the moment, but I'm sure things will come to mind as soon as we get off the webinar. Yep. Hey, just email us or give us a call. We definitely can help. But okay, last round for calls, because I know y'all not trying to look at me all night. Okay. I'm gonna do last round. No one wants to speak or come up on the screen. It's 7 o'clock. Everyone probably got their bonnets on or something, or everyone's just relaxing. That is good to know about the cleaning service. Yep, it is. But yeah, there's a laundry list of tax strategies out there. Please take advantage of it. But the first thing that I want y'all guys to do after the call is to go to your financial statements and look at your income. Look at your income to see, hey, I may be due for a large tax bill this year. I need to call this guy. If you don't have a large income, then you probably can get away with not owing a lot of taxes. You still want to check it though. Let's see. If we didn't write them off for 6 months, can we add them? Yes, you can add them. You can add them. Make sure you compile that list of all your cleaning expense, and then your CPA is going to look at your percentage of home office to your entire home, and he's going to factor that in. And I can actually, let me see. What? Let's talk, Mona Lisa. Jeff, what about consulting on a C2C, consumer to consumer? Is that what C2C stand for? See, that's why I want y'all guys to come up on the screen. Yeah, let me know what C2C stands for on a C2C. Any type of business you specialize in, for some reason, we get a lot of mental health, and law firms. And it's probably because I started off in the medical industry for my family, but those are the industry that we specialize in. Let's see. Any other questions I missed? I think that's it, guys. Y'all enjoy yourself tonight. Y'all enjoy corp to corp. Any consulting, yes, you can write that off as basically a management fee, consulting fee. Those are professional fees, like consulting. So that's definitely something you can write off, especially if you have like a managing company or a holding company. You can leverage the two by having your management company paying all the payroll, because you're not trying to run payroll everywhere, and then the operations company can basically pay that management company. So that's something you want to set up for operation measures and to keep things kind of like just clean and more efficient. Let's see. I hope that answered your question. But yeah, if y'all guys are interested in talk to us, please just book a call. We're happy to serve you. We're a CPA firm here in Houston, Texas. But I'm going to end the call. Y'all guys have a blessed one.